What is up, everybody? It's the worst YouTuber ever, back at it again with a late upload. But hey, be grateful because I almost didn't upload a video at all because of what I'm talking about in this video. Video games. More specifically, Skater XL in session. Now, because this is a skateboarding channel, I've never really covered video games, so I don't really know how this video will go, but if you happen to like video games, and I mean, who doesn't, I have a huge announcement for all of you. I am starting a gaming channel, so please go and subscribe to it. It only has one video up on it right now. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, you gotta find out yourself. If you enjoy my funny or like memed out type of videos,
my name is Aaron Cairo, and
I will give you
balls.
You'll enjoy this channel a lot. And I'll be trying to upload once a week, so freaking subscribe so you don't miss out. And don't worry, my top priority is this channel, so it won't interfere with the uploads here at all. So back to the topic of the video, Skater XL versus Session. Well, I'll have you know I've been playing quite a lot of both this week, and that's in part thanks to the people from Skater XL sliding in my Gmail and blessing me up with some Steam keys the other day. So if you're watching this, thank you Skater XL. I wasn't planning on making this video, but now because of you, I am. In this video, I'll be reviewing Session, a game that I bought myself about a month ago, and Skater XL, a game I got a few days ago for free. Does that mean that this will be biased? Absolutely not. Skater XL is not paying me anything, not a cent. So if I want, I can just go and say that they endorse scooter kids and they can't do anything about it. So without wasting any more time, in this video I'll be telling you what I think of both games, what I like, what I don't like, and ultimately which one you should buy. So let's start off with gameplay. Now I should start out by saying both of these games don't offer any kind of storyline progression or cutscenes. The only progression you have is your own as you learn the game and you're filming. And yeah, there's a whole thing about filming and editing your clips in both games, but I'm not too interested in that anyway, so I won't be covering it in this video. Both of these games are typically fun for people who skateboard in real life or want to experience what skateboarding in real life is like. What you'll be doing most of the time is looking around finding a cool spot, and then you'll think, hey, this looks like a cool spot to do a trick over, so you try it until you make it. You pretty much have to set your own goals, and if you're on PC, don't be afraid to add some mods. Gameplay in Session and Skater XL is in general the same, but also very different. The controls are nearly identical, with you using the sticks on your controller to ollie and do flip tricks, and primarily use your trigger buttons to turn left and right. Although in Skater XL, you can use your sticks to turn as well as your trigger buttons, which I found feels a lot more natural than just using your triggers as in Session. Although with time, you do get used to it, and after a bit of practice, I was having no trouble lining myself up with rails and ledges, versus it taking me a few hours of playing to finally have it feel fluid in Session. That being said though, it's important for you to know that because I started out with Session, by the time I tried Skater XL, I was already used to using the triggers, and I barely relied on the stick to turn. Although for someone who hasn't played either game, I think the turning controls in Skater XL will be more fluid to learn, and it will take less time to have your lines look smooth. Doing tricks is a little bit different in both games as well. Session is overall less forgiving, and it takes more precise input for you to do the trick you want. For example, to ollie, you have to put your right stick back and then flick your left stick up. In Skater XL, if you want to ollie, you just pull your right stick back and then let go of it. Aside from ollies, most of the other tricks are done practically in the same way in both games. But in Session, it feels more realistic, and while it's a bit more difficult at first, once you get the hang of it, it feels a lot more satisfying to land tricks in Session than it does in Skater XL, simply because they're more difficult to land. And also in both games, you can have a different style or speed of your trick depending on how you do it. For example, in both games, you can have a very slow kickflip, a fast one that's mobbed, or one that's like steezed out, I guess. One other thing that Skater XL downright beats Session in is ram skating. Now, it's by no means perfect, but compared to Session, it's miles ahead of them, as you pretty much glitch out or get sent to space if you're right up on the coping. And I'm pretty sure there are some mods that can help with this, but I've yet to find it, and I'll be getting into modding in each game a little bit later. Grinds and board slides are also very different in both games. Skater XL will let you grind a bit easier in my opinion, and will lock you into your grind a lot easier than Session. Skater XL will also pop out of grinds for you in some instances. Session, on the other hand, is a lot harder and requires you to move the sticks in the directions that you want to put your weight in when riding the board. Kind of like you do in real life. At first, it was very difficult for me to get used to, and it took me about an hour of trying before I could do it consistently. But even now, after playing the game for 35 hours according to Steam, I still find myself mixing up what foot to put pressure on, especially when doing tricks that involve rotating. One thing that Skater XL is severely missing is an object placer. Session has one when you press both bumpers on your controller, and while it doesn't give you a huge amount of variety of stuff you can put down, it opens the opportunities to land stuff you couldn't before, and it adds a lot to the game, even though it's just simple mechanic. you can walk in Session and you can't in Skater XL. This is a good and a bad thing depending on how you look at it. In Skater XL, if you want to go to a new teleport spot, you just press Y and then you can fly around and place it pretty much anywhere you want to. This opens up the opportunity to skate things you typically wouldn't be able to in Session, because your marker or your respawn point or whatever is placed wherever you're standing, so you can't go skate some insane building gap unless you find a way to parkour up there. So the gameplay for both games is overall pretty similar, yet Session leans to more of a realistic style, and Skater XL is more forgiving and also a bit more intuitive. The maps in both games are really well designed and offer almost anything you could want from a skateboarding game. The city maps in both games vary a little bit, with Session taking place in a New York type city featuring the Brooklyn Banks, an iconic skate spot, and Session featuring an LA type city with an iconic car wash spot. Overall, the city maps in both games are pretty good, but I personally like the one in Session more, simply because they have crazier gaps and bigger rails you can skate, whereas in Skater XL it feels a bit more empty and you could use a few more gaps and bigger rails and just some more unique stuff that you can skate. The skate park maps are something I enjoy a lot more in Skater XL, as the ones in Session feel very cluttered and they just aren't fun to ride in. Yet some of the skate park maps from mods I find in Session are very fun and I can skate those for hours. Both games feature some unique maps too, which I would consider is a mega ramp in Skater XL and the garage map in Session. I really like the garage map in Session, it's probably one of my favorite ones that's not a mod. And the mega ramp one in Skater XL is fun and something that Session is lacking on for sure. As for the community made or modded maps, both games offer a huge selection of them, and some of them are really well made and really fun, and others are really poorly made but still really fun. Overall, I like the maps in both games, and I would call it a tie because you can mod in any map you want. But for all you console players, you won't be able to add any maps as you'll be stuck with the ones that come with the game. And if we're going off that, I'll have to give it to Skater XL. They have more maps to choose from the start, and the maps that they have better object placement and flow a lot better than some of the maps in Session. As you can probably tell from the footage, both these games look pretty good. Overall, Session seems to have more details and overall looks more realistic. Just some examples are the trash on the streets, the detailed grass, and the plants. You can also change the time of day in Session, which you can't do in Skater XL, which can lead to some really cool cinematic shots. You can even change it to night and set up some lights from the object placer to have it look like a setup spot. The characters that you skate with are also pretty similar, and in both games the shoes and the skateboard are probably the most detailed. Yet unfortunately, neither of them have dynamic damage and scratches and stuff like that, which I think needs to be added to both games, and it would be really cool if they could add a thing where you can break your board from taking a really big fall or from landing poorly. Although the shoes and the skateboards are really detailed, it seems like the more you go up on the skater, the worse the graphics get. Which I guess doesn't really matter because you typically aren't looking at the face of your character while you're skating, but adding a few emotions like a shocked face when you land a crazy trick, or a sad face or a face of pain when you bail out would be really cool. The only graphics problem that is noticeably bad is in Session there seems to be a motion blur bug, or a glitch or something like that I guess, because there seems to be a constant stream of your ghost that follows you. It's kind of hard to describe with words, but I'll put a clip of it right here. I don't really know how to get rid of it, so if anybody else does, please let me know. And that's pretty much it for graphics, so let's get into the fun part. The mods. The modding community is really where the bread and butter is in both of these games, and mods can vastly change a lot in both games. But of course, the only people that have access to mods are PC players, so sorry console boys, you're out for this one. Now I'm just gonna get into it. Overall, I think Skater XL has better modding options in Session, and I'll tell you why. Most notably, in Skater XL there's a multiplayer mod, which is huge. Neither of these games come with multiplayer, and the ability to play with your friends makes this game so much more fun. And although there aren't collisions and that sometimes you get some lag and you'll see other players flying around or lagging around, it's still pretty good for a mod, and as long as you have a friend that lives relatively close to you and you both join a server with low ping, it will feel and look pretty smooth. Aside from the multiplayer, the mods for Skater XL and Session are more or less the same. They have player-made maps for both real and imaginary locations, some including iconic skate spots and skate parks, and they also both offer customizable shoes, clothes, and skateboards for each game. And best of all, you don't need to be a computer engineer to be able to figure out how to download the mods. There's lots of tutorials that can be found on YouTube for both games, and if you just follow those, you'll be good. Overall, both of these games are good, and you will enjoy both of them if you buy them. The real biggest difference is the price point. Skater XL is $40 and Session is only $20. And $20 is honestly a pretty good deal for what Session is. It's far from a complete game and it has a lot of stuff that they still have to polish and still get right. But if you instead spend $40 and double the money on Skater XL, you get a more complete game that offers you more maps to ride, more stuff to do, and isn't as unforgiving as Session. But which one would I buy if I was only to choose one? In my unbiased opinion, I think I would choose to buy Skater XL. I would choose it because I think overall, it's more finished, more polished in session, and it's not as realistic and has slightly worse graphics in session, but you don't really notice it, and you also don't fall when trying to skate ramps, which is kind of annoying. The maps that come with Skater XL are more fun and flow better in a line than the ones in session. And on top of that, I like the modding options that you have with Skater XL a lot more, and the multiplayer just sweetens the deal. So if you have $40 and are tired of waiting for Skate 4 to come out, you should try out Skater XL. And if you're on the budget or just want a more realistic experience, well then you should just try Session. It's kind of up to you at the end of the day. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and before you leave, make sure to give this video a like, and don't forget to obviously check out my new gaming channel. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll see you soon.